When you think of the most jealous supervillain, most people think Eobard Thawne, Reverse Flash. And you may be right. Reverse Flash is a combination of many things. Hate, sadism, and mostly jealousy. Stealing Barry's identity or vibrating Barry's best friend out of existence, Eobard hates Barry Allen with a burning passion. But for you to understand, we need to go back and explain why he's like this and talk about his acts in more depth. I'm Fedora Comics, and this is how Reverse Flash is jealousy incarnate. Eobard Thawne is a scientist from the 25th century, becomes obsessed with Barry Allen's Flash from the 21st century. I know, right? He puts his whole life into researching the Speed Force. During adulthood, he finds a time capsule with a Flash costume with traces of the Speed Force, giving Thawne access to the Speed Force, making him really, really quick. Thawne promises himself to be a superhero like the Flash, because obviously he's obsessed with him. But due to lack of hero opportunities, because it's like the future and stuff, Eobard endangers people to, quote-unquote, save. But when Barry arrives in Thawne's time, 21st century, he teaches Thawne to tap into the Speed Force and control his power. Unfortunately, Barry finds out how Thawne was saving people in his city, so this is where you'd think Thawne turns evil, but he doesn't. He actually figures out he wants to better himself in prison, and he convinces the authorities to let him be a tour guide at the Flash Museum, to then being a curator. Eobard waits for Barry to see his redemption arc and bring back the status of being Barry's quote-unquote best friend. Thawne changes his costume to yellow to respect the Flash, because obviously Kid Flash is the same colour. Thawne then travels back to the 21st century to Barry Allen's time and sees Barry give Wally West, the new Kid Flash, a watch that has advice given to Thawne when Barry came to the 25th century. And this gets a spark that really creates the fire, showing he's not special to Barry. He isn't, a good friend. He was just a person, a speedster Barry needed to train. And with this, he runs back to the 20th century, right to the Flash Museum, and creates the negative Speed Force. And to explain the negative Speed Force well, all it is just a cancer to the normal Speed Force. It's pretty self-explanatory. This is when he becomes the Reverse Flash. And now, with that out of the way, it's just insane. Reverse Flash has such a broken backstory, being dunked on. That's a bad adjective, but you get what I mean. Being hurt his entire life, spending his entire life going to the Flash, being trained by the Flash, gaining the Flash's powers, all of that to be crushed. He wasn't special to the Flash. Now I can see where he's coming from. Obviously, I don't recognize the acts he did. I feel like they could have done that a little bit better if they just, if he just didn't, kill a bunch of people, kill some of Barry's close friends. That would have, like, if he didn't do that, that would have been good, for, like, his rep. He just didn't do that. So, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain some of the facts, some of the acts he did in more depth, like I said in the intro. I'm just going to explain them. They are terrible. And if you don't know, this is based off the Marvel's Most Statistic Villain video. I want you to go check that out before you watch that. That wasn't my videos. This is the inspiration. So that one's even better. So if you want to go watch that, go watch that. The main thing Eobard has done to destroy Barry's life is using his power to change history without timeline disruption. What I mean by this is Barry cannot change history, but Eobard can't, because he is the reverse of what Flash is. What he does is kill Barry's mother, Nora Allen, and leaves Henry Allen to be framed for a crime and spend 15 years, but it was cut short because in the comics, he died in prison. And the best thing about it, Barry can never change what happened. He can never change history without disrupting the timeline, as we saw in Flashpoint, where basically the world goes to shit, and everyone's at each other's throats. Another horrible action Thawne commits is killing Barry's wife, Iris West, at a costume party. He frames people, as he does with most killings of Barry's friends. He frames someone and then later admits to the crime. And this is like actually insane, because Reverse Flash is such like a menace that he will frame someone and Barry will think it's them, but then he comes out and no, it was me, Barry. It was me. He will say he will go on that type stuff, and he will just he loves to destroy Barry's life. Destroy Barry's life. Like, geez Louise, he is the definition of hate. Another absolutely heinous act that my jaw dropped when I read this. It's actually insane. So basically, this is targeted to his backstory because, as I said before, Wally West was like the person who Barry gave the watch, and then Thawne was like, "Oh, I hate my life, blah 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 blah. I hate the Flash." And then, you know what he does to Wally West? he forces him to watch his wife Nora's miscarriage over and over and over again. What? Bro, you don't even have beef with Wally. You don't even have beef with Wally. How? That has nothing to do with Barry. It's actually insane. Genuinely, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Reverse Flash is actually a menace to society. Lock him up. Lock him up. And we know why he does this, to ruin Barry's life. Now, some of them may seem optional, like the one I just said. Holy crap. But he hates Barry Allen. For example, in the comic Flash Rebirth, he talks about pushing Barry down the stairs as a child because he wanted to see Barry cry. What? He is hatred. Hatred incarnate, bro. He is the definition of jealousy. Genuinely. Genuinely. This is obviously shown when he, like, steals Barry's identity, to, like, do his reputation, and also because he kind of wants to be the Flash. It's just, I don't really know how to explain it, but he's such a villain. He is the villain. I think he's top 1 villain ever of all time. And this slowly eats him up until he dies, in quotations, in Flashpoint, where he gets, well, in the DCA, is it the DCAU? The DCAU gets shot, but in the real Flashpoint comic, for them real nerds out there, he gets stabbed by Thomas Wayne, although I don't know why Thomas Wayne would have a sword, it's just mid, but it's peak. It's peak. So, yeah, I feel like that is why the Reverse Flash hates so much, and this was my little video factor on how it is. If you want to see more than these, give me a little comment, give me a little subscribe, just a tiny little subscribe. You probably enjoy it. You probably enjoy me. I'm a pretty fun guy. Yeah, so like and subscribe. I've been Fedora Comics. This has obviously not been as long as my inspiration, but I talk very fast, so pretty cool. Yay. Goodbye, chat.